Come on, half time. Yay! Oh, well done, guys. Oh. Half time now, and time for a bit of a break and think about how we're doing. Oh, hello. Hi, my name's Simon, and welcome to Trinity All Age today. We're thinking a bit about how we're going in the Christian life and how we can do better. And I'm going to be joined by Coach Paul a bit later on, Coach Paolo, to help us think through a bit about what it means. Because playing a game, we can ask the question, how am I doing and what can I do better? And we can ask the same question when we think about following Jesus. How am I doing and are there things I could do better too? Well, we're going to do that as we look at the letter that Paul wrote to the church in Thessalonica and how he encourages them to keep on going. In Thessalonica, there were young Christians. Do you remember Sal and Ian? Well, do you remember Paul? Once he'd told them about Jesus and had started to follow Jesus, Paul had to go. So he wrote to them a letter, and we've got it in 1 Thessalonians. And in that letter, he encourages them to keep on following God. Now, when we follow someone, we think about what they're like. And the Bible says that God is holy. That means he's perfectly good. So we're going to think about that now as we sing a song, God is a Holy God.
God is a holy God. God is a holy God. We can't be friends because of our sin. We can't be friends because of our sin. God is a holy God. God is a holy God. We can't be friends because of our sin. We can't be friends because of our sin. Jesus died to wash us clean. When we put our trust in him, God opens his arms and welcomes us in. God opens his arms and welcomes us in. God is a holy God. God is a holy God. We can't be friends because of our sin. We can't be friends because of our sin. God is a holy God. God is a holy God. We can't be friends because of our sin. We can't be friends because of our sin. Jesus died to wash us clean. When we put our trust in him, God opens his arms and welcomes us in. God opens his arms and welcomes us in. Thanks for helping us, Alana.
You're welcome.
God is a holy God. And wonderfully, by trusting in Jesus' death on the cross, we become friends with God. And being friends with God, he wants us to live for him. Now, living as a Christian is a little bit like playing a game. And we're going to go now to assistant coach Paolo giving his halftime talk to Christian United in their game against Pagan City. Let's go to Coach Paolo now.
Christian United, what a great half. So encouraging that everything we discussed in the week, you've gone out there and put into practice. Playing for the boss with love and fair play. Well done. So good that you've been able to follow those instructions that I've passed on to you from the head coach. You know, God. But it's not over yet. We need to push on. We need to kick on. Okay? What you're doing is really good, but we need to be doing it more and more. There, keep it going. You've got their winger in your back pocket. Rabbit, you've got the beating of their centre half all day long. You're out jumping him. Easy. Keep it up. Princess, oh, you are so cool, so calm under pressure, ice cold. You keep on going. And Unicorn, you've been legging it up and down that wing all game long. You've covered every blade of grass, even the ones you've not even ate. Well done. Pagan City, they may have all the gear, but they've got no idea, okay? They might have the flash kit, they might have the cool scooters and the latest new bikes, but don't let that take the focus away from the job in hand, okay? Keep your eye on the ball. Let's keep control of ourselves. Keep our heads in the heat of battle. Don't lose our temper when those tackles come flying in. They're going to come out fighting second half. They're going to try and trip you up. They're going to try and tease you, but don't let them. The head coach will think more of you if you can play with honour. Don't talk back. Don't get into fights or any arguments. Don't hurt others. You'll get a red card if you do. The head coach has been so encouraged with the love and support you've shown each other. Keep passing that ball. Don't be selfish. Your behaviour so far has been impeccable. It's been spot on. And I've even heard some of those Pagan City fans saying how well you've carried yourselves and how they wish that their own team was more like you. Keep going in the second half. Keep following the tactics we've set for you and do it more and more.
How good it was to hear from assistant coach Paolo, and how well Christian United are playing. You know, living as a Christian is a bit like playing a game. It can be fun and it can be hard as well. But do you remember Christian FC? They were playing for their head coach. And so too we're called to play for our head coach. That means to live for God in all that we do. But it's hard to live for God too, isn't it? Sometimes we make all kinds of mistakes. Maybe your sister comes into your bedroom and you just go mad. Maybe your brother breaks a toy by accident and you get really angry too. If that's us, we need to learn to be more gentle and kind and forgiving. It'd be really silly for the players not to listen to Coach Paolo, wouldn't it? Particularly as he has his instructions from the head coach. It's also silly when we don't listen to our mums and dads when they're teaching us from the Bible and telling us what's right and wrong. And sometimes when we play, we just get carried away, don't we? And we get so involved in the game, we forget other people and we maybe trip them up or say an unkind word. Well, following Jesus means we need to think about other people, how we're kind to them and how we're gentle with them too. And sometimes we can see something that we want. That's not ours, but we take it. It could belong to someone else, or maybe it's a biscuit or a toy that we're not supposed to eat before dinner. All these things are things we sometimes get wrong, and we do wrong things. And there's a warning, isn't there? When we play, we can get a red card and get sent off. And God can be unhappy with us if we live like that. But that's not the whole picture, is it? Do you remember that half-time talk? Do you remember how Christian United were playing? They were playing really well, and Coach Paolo was encouraging them too. Let's hear what Paul said to the Christians in Thessalonica.
Now about your love for one another, we do not need to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love each other, and in fact you do love all of God's family throughout Macedonia. Yet we urge you, brothers and sisters, to do so more and more.
That was so good to hear, how the Thessalonican Christians were living for God and loving one another. And you know, when we live for God and love one another, God is really happy. He has a really big smile. So how can we do that? How can we love one another? Let's have a think. Maybe when the cake comes out next time, you can say to someone you choose first. Maybe next time we're talking at dinner or we're on Zoom, we can do super well to listen really hard to other people. And when it's our turn to say something, we think, let me say something really encouraging and positive. We also might think about how we can be gentle and kind to one another. And maybe think about how we can be patient, even when that's difficult. Living this way really pleases God. And as we love others, it's like God saying, come on, keep going. Do that more and more. Now, here's a thing that we might want to do. Think back to the sports team. What we could do is take a picture and colour it in of a sports person, and then write down 5 things that would be really good to see in a Christian United player. What would they be like? Is it kind? Is it sharing? Passing the ball? What would that mean for you and me in how we live to follow God? We began by thinking about playing a game and how that's a bit like living as a Christian. And with the help of Paul, Coach Paolo, we've been thinking about how we can think about how we're living for Jesus and how we can do that even better. We've thought about living for God as living and playing for the head coach. We've thought about being careful and kind to other people, watching out. And we've also thought about loving others and keeping on doing that more and more. So let's hear that message from that head coach and let's keep on going, living for Jesus. Let's bring it to a close now, and let's do so by praying. Dear God, thank you for giving us this life to live and the fun and joy along with the hard times as well. Sorry when we play in an unkind or hurtful way. Help us to control ourselves and love other people as you love us. Amen. Well, thanks for joining us, and till next time, goodbye.